Hola, welcome back everybody. My name is Emilio Jose Garcia and I am so excited to be here again with you guys. Today's topic is mind mapping. I am very excited to share this with you. In the last session that we did on Tuesday, we were talking about doing a brain dump and we went through examples, we went through what a brain dump was. And then today we're going to take that information to the next level and we are going to do a mind map with that information. We are going to learn more about what is mind mapping, how can we use it, and I'm going to share with you a couple of examples. And then we will have some Q&A on how you can use mind mapping in your specific situation or examples, okay? But as always, before getting started, let's just do a little practice, okay? I invite you guys to close your eyes if you can, okay? And then just deep, briefly, uh, at a pace that feels good to you. And today, I feel inspired to do an emotional scan, okay? Some of you probably have heard of a body scan, and it's just scanning your body and then see how you feel, what's there, any tensions you may have. But today, I want to do an emotional scan. An emotional scan is you paying attention and becoming aware to the emotions that are in your space right now, the emotions that are present for you right now. Okay? So close your eyes and then just pay attention to what are you feeling? What emotions are present for you today? Or maybe this week? Or maybe this emotion or this feeling has been present for the last few months, or maybe even years. I am happy to model that. Okay. So in my case today, I feel excited and grateful and overwhelmed at the same time. This is business wise. Why? Because I finished my outline for my new course here on Insight Timer about executive functioning skills. And I was working really hard to create the outline, to submit it to Insight Timer and to record the intro, and then it got approved. So I got an email yesterday. So I'm excited, of course, I'm grateful, but at the same time, now I have to create 18 audio files. I have to research, I have to do a lot of work. So that makes me a little bit overwhelmed. So that feeling is there. Okay. On a personal note, I noticed that in the past months, I have been very frustrated, easily frustrated, lacking a lot of patience, especially with my daughter and with my wife. And yeah, that has been there. And I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that behavior. So when I try to understand why that emotion and feeling is there, I notice sadness and loneliness. Okay? So to me, that sadness and loneliness is creating that frustration. It's not allowing me to tap into my full creativity, playfulness, loving Emilio. It's not allowing me to tap into my heart and be present lovingly. I am always distracted, focusing on negative stuff, catastrophizing, and things like that. So for me, and I have tears in my ears. So this is important for you guys to do something like this because when you start noticing emotions coming out, like I'm noticing now that I'm almost crying, this is good. This is good stuff. This means that you are touching into something that you have to do something about. You can do deep work about this. You can explore why that's there. And in my case, that loneliness and sadness is coming from, I guess, COVID and lack of connection. I miss having good friends around me, close by, not in Spain, not in Vancouver, not like far away from me. I miss having at least one or two good friends in my neighborhood. I miss that a lot. And I lost that because I had a few good ones and they moved away. The other one got a full-time job now and he doesn't have time. Okay, so that feeling and emotion is there for me. So that's just one example of how you can do an emotional scan where you can really come up with what's present for me right now and why is this emotion here. And I invite you not to be hard on yourself. I invite you not to be analyzing or criticizing. Just pay attention and be aware of it. Okay, I hope that this exercise was helpful. And also, I really needed to do it today. So thank you so much, guys, for holding space for me, for doing this too. But this is something that we can all do and benefit from anytime. Okay, anytime we are feeling bad, but also being proactive about doing this when you are feeling good too. Because there are always emotions, and sometimes we don't take the time to pay attention to them, and I have been neglecting that a lot lately. So I need to work on that. Okay, I need to work on finding those connections again, and I don't really know how I'm gonna be doing that, but that's there. It's sadness and it's loneliness, and I just have to work through those. Okay, so today's topic, it's mind mapping. And I have an example to share with you where this person was feeling the same way that I was feeling, because she was retiring and then she was having a lot of free time and then she didn't know what to do with it. Okay, so this mind map that I'm gonna share with you, it covers 3 areas. So before diving into the example, and thank you so much for for your messages and for your support, I really appreciate it. Happy to hear that, Emilia. I'm glad you are on a good path now. Thank you, Julia. So a reminder about the difference between, because so many people ask me, okay, what is a mind map? What is a brain dump? What is a flow chart? What are all these things and how can I implement them in my life? Okay, so in the last session, we did what's called a brain dump. A brain dump is a way for you to transfer what's in your head down into a piece of paper. You can also use a computer or a phone or an app if you want to, but pen and paper, I really feel that is really a good way to do it because it allows you to be very flexible, very creative. When you are doing a brain dump, you are just dumping information. It's not organized, it's not connected, okay? It's just dumping information. Could be feelings, could be emotions, could be to-dos, could be ideas, could be steps of a process that you are trying to create, could be a brainstorming about options that you have about a specific situation, okay? So you are just dumping everything in that piece of paper so that you can see it from the outside and then you can gain awareness and clarity about what's in your head. And then once you do that, you can take it to the next level and then you can do what's called a mind map. And a mind map, it's just a way to organize that information, okay? It's a way to organize the information, to connect that information, and to make that information more actionable, more create some sort of sequencing flow chart, something that you understand and something that will help you start moving forward to the specific goals that you have. Okay, so let me just share one example, one of my own examples, for example. Okay, first one. So I have my journal here, and then my wife and I, a few months ago, we decided that we are going to be doing a sabbatical year in Spain. Very exciting. I'm very excited to be close to my family and my friends. And one of the main reasons is for us to speak Spanish, okay? Especially my daughter and my wife, to practice Spanish and to get really good at speaking Spanish, and also to spend quality time with my parents and my friends, because with COVID, it has been really hard. So this is an example of a very simple mind map that I did, okay? The first thing that I do was brainstorm the main actions that I needed to take, that we needed to take, okay? So the steps. And then that was subletting the apartment, go to Spain for 1 to 2 months, maybe just to explore, select the destination and ship stuff if we need to, research Eva's daycare options, and then make sure that business-wise we are prepared with everything that we need to do to be able to operate from there, and then explore ideas for accommodation. Okay, so those were ideas, and then after that we came up with a sequence, like what is most important, what comes first, and then what comes after, and then what are the steps, the order of those steps. And that's when the mind map really helps you see things more clearly, because now I know that I am not going to do step 3 until I do step 1. For us, step 1 and the most important step is to find someone to take care of our apartment and our cat. Once we have that in place, everything else is going to be just falling in place after. So then we can look for flights, then we can look for accommodation in Spain, then we can look for daycare once we find the accommodation, because then we know the area, so everything starts unfolding in a good sequence. Okay, so are you guys understanding so far more or less what a mind mapping is and how it looks like? I just want to make sure that you guys are following me. Yes, okay. Yeah, trusted house sitters is great. Lisa, yeah, I have that in here to explore that idea. But then we realize that we don't want to be doing that. We realize that we want to move our lifestyle from here to there for a year. So we want to have a permanent base. That's what Samantha and we sat together, we did a couple of dreaming sessions, okay, and then we thought about how do we want to feel when we are there, what are our priorities, and then for us it was feeling safe and having a permanent home was very important. We don't want to be moving around many times, so that's why we decided to rent a place for a full year. That came from doing that mind map, that came from doing the exercise. This is why when you do a brain dump and then you create the mind map and you start ordering the steps, sequencing them, prioritizing them, you are also checking for how do you feel with this step, what feelings and emotions are evoking when you read those ideas that you have in there, or those actions. And then you start noticing stuff, you start gaining clarity about what's going on. Okay, so let me share with you another very clear example of a mind map that I did with a person. Okay, this was a few years ago, but I saved it just as an example to be able to show people, and this is a photocopy of it. So this person came to one of my talks, okay, and it was a she, and then she was very overwhelmed. She was really, really overwhelmed. So she came to the presentation, and then after that she stayed, and then she was talking with me, and then she was just telling me, yeah, I'm really overwhelmed, and I sensed that she was very scattered. She had a lot of things that she wanted to do, but she didn't have clarity, and she was feeling that overwhelm that paralyzes you. And she was paralyzed, right? So I invited her to sit down and say, do you have a 10 to 15 minutes? And then she said, yes. I say, okay, do you want to sit down with me, please? Yeah. So we sat down, and then I just always have like a blank notebook. And then I say, okay, what's in your head? And then she started to share. And then she started to share, oh, my basement got flooded. I have to do this and that. So basement, you see, basement is right there. That's a main center. And then she started to go about the basement. And I said, wait, stop. Don't go into the details of the basement yet. Tell me what main ideas are in your head right now. What's there other than your basement? And then she said, I really like gardening and I really want to get my garden started this year. Okay, so that was the garden. It's right there in a circle in yellow. Okay, garden is there. And then she started getting lost with the detail. I said, no, wait. Don't get into the details about gardening. Okay, so you told me basement and you told me gardening. What else is in your mind? Like main category. Don't get lost with the story. Don't get lost with the emotions, and don't get lost with the details. And this is really important when you guys are doing this. The first step is to really step out and only think about the main categories. What are the main ideas? What are the main things that you want to do? And try to avoid getting lost in the details just yet, okay? So she had the basement, she had the gardening, and then the next one was things to do in my free time. Why was that important for her? Because she just retired. And then she was used to working a lot, and all of a sudden she is with all this free time and she didn't know what to do with it. And that was really important because that was making her feel overwhelmed. So having that free time was making her feel overwhelmed. Okay, and that was it, guys. So as you see in the mind map, so basement, garden, and finding things to do in my free time. When we did the exercise, those were the only three main things that were overwhelming her. Okay, so let's dive into, once I took out all that information from her and she was complete, because I always ask her, like, do you feel complete? Is there anything else that is in your mind that is not gardening, is not basement, and is not things to do in your free time? Is there anything else? And then she say, no, those are the three main things that I'm overwhelmed with. And if I could get a handle of them, that would be amazing. I say, amazing. So we are complete here. Now we're gonna dive into each of those. Okay, let's start with your basement, for example. Or I asked her, like, what do you want to get started with? And I think she said the basement, because that was her priority number one, because she had a flooding, so she had to do. So in the basement, you see here, basement is in the center, and then there are a bunch of lines going out. Okay, so she started, I asked her, like, so what do you need to do? Start sharing about basement. And then she started dumping stuff. I need to pack my boxes. I need to select the art pieces. I need to unpack the boxes. I need to call the contractor. I need to do this, do that. And then she started sharing stuff, and I started listening, and I was just starting connecting the ideas. And then by the end of the exercise, this is what we came up. And then as you see, once I did the branches, so the main idea is basement. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 branches that branches out of that idea. The first branch is packing boxes. Okay, so the basement is flooded. I need to go through all my stuff and I need to pack all the boxes so that I can remove them. And then I can call the contractor. I can ask for a quote and they can fix the basement. Okay, and then I can unpack the boxes and I can organize my basement. And then I will select my art pieces to display there. So at the end of the day, those were the 4 main actions. And then you can see that I put a number. And this is the priority, because I asked her, once she told me those 4 ideas, I asked her, like, what comes first? And then she said, well, the first step should be packing the boxes and emptying the basement. So that's, and then she said, okay, what do you need to pack the boxes? Okay, and then she said, I need help packing. I need to buy boxes and I need to donate unwanted items. Okay, so those items are there. So you have basement, packing boxes, and then you have them in here. Okay, and then I say, okay, let's go into help packing. How can we find the help packing? And then she said, I can ask family members, I can ask friends, I can hire an organizer. Okay, and then you see them here. And then we took it to the next level, and then we say, how much will it be to hire an organizer? And then she will say, $300. How long will it take you to buy the boxes? 30 minutes. And then we started to also add time estimate and cost. Okay, so basement, packing boxes, that's already done. Everything is in here. Okay, then the next one was calling the contractor. And then she has, I need to ask for a quote, and then I need to arrange the dates and make that happen. So that was the second priority. The third priority was unpacking boxes and then organizing the basement, and that time estimation, 12 hours to do that. Okay, and the last one is selecting art pieces. So that was the result of that basement idea that was overwhelming her. Right now, once she has this, now she has a plan of attack. Now she can say, okay, now I know what my priority level is. The number one is this one. I'm going to get started here. So I'm going to start taking action with all these things. I'm going to find help. I'm going to buy the boxes. And then I'm going to get the basement clear. Okay. After that, I'm going to call the contractor. And then I'm going to have the contractor fix whatever is wrong with the leak. Once that's complete and done and clean, then I'm going to unpack the boxes and I'm going to organize my basement. And after that, I am going to display the art and beautify my basement. Okay, so that was the end result of doing this brain dump and mind mapping together. What do you guys think of this approach so far? is this something that, will you have more clarity having something like this when you are having feelings of overwhelm? Will it help you to have something that is so clear and the priority is there, and then all of a sudden you can show this to a family member, to a friend, and they understand what you are doing? Okay, they understand and they can see it, because this is the beauty of mind mapping. It's so visual, and you can add colors, you can add drawings, you can do whatever you want and feel like. Okay, so do you guys want me to share the next example on things to do in the free time? You want me to go through? Okay, so that was the next one, things to do in free time. And in here we were brainstorming ideas. Okay, and then she came up with okay, things to do in free time. She talked about meetup groups. Okay, so I want to explore my options in meetup groups. Meetup is a platform online that you can log in your location, and you can see groups of people doing different activities. So you can have a peek in there, and maybe you see something that you like. I use Meetup quite a bit. I do biking, rollerblading, going to play sports. Some people use it to go and have coffee, watch movies, read books. You can create your own group too. Okay, so Meetup groups is one. And then she said, I can exercise, I can join a gym, and I can do bicycle trips too, and explore trails. So I will get a map for that. And then she says, I can learn new things. So I can go to library talks, to the community center, and then learn new things that are available to me here. And then she wanted to meet new friends and existing friends. So she wanted to meet one-on-one with them. And then she wanted to call them, send letters, and organize a potluck. Okay, so all those ideas are here. Then once she shared all those ideas, and I asked her, are you complete? Is there any other idea, any other thing that is coming up for you regarding this topic? And then she said, no, that feels good to me. Okay, that feels good to me. So then we took it to the next level. Then I asked her, okay, how much time is this gonna take you, or how much time are you willing to spend on these things? Is there a price tag to them? Because sometimes you have a budget and you want to know how much it's gonna cost you. So she said, okay, meetup groups, just to explore my options, I'm gonna spend 1 hour. I'm gonna connect on my computer and I'm gonna spend 1 hour researching. Okay, and that's free. Exercise, okay, I'm going to join the gym, and that's gonna be $60 a month, and I can afford that. And then I am willing to spend 3 hours a week going to the gym. And then she opened the calendar and then say, okay, when are you going to do those 3 hours? And then she just put it in there. I said, I'm gonna do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because that way I always have a day in between. It's 3 times a week, 1 hour each day. The weekend is off so that I can do the other stuff, and then I feel good. That's a good balance to me. Okay, perfect. And then bicycle trips, she said, I want to spend 2 hours a week. Okay, I want to do at least one trip of 2 hours to explore trails around my community. Great. Is that gonna cost you any money? No, because I already have the bicycle. Okay. And then she said, okay, one-on-one, meeting one-on-one with friends. How much time are you willing to spend or invest? And she said 2 hours a week. I think 2 hours a week, every week I can meet with one friend, and that's good. Amazing. And then after that, like I say, okay, how much time are you willing to spend learning new things? And then she says 2 hours a week. Okay. So what this is helping you is, first, you gain clarity about the ideas that you want to pursue. Second, it's very visual and you see them. Third, you can assign priorities. And then once she finished sharing all these ideas, I asked her, what are the priorities for these 4 ideas that you have? What is the priority number 1? And then she said, exercising. That's my priority number 1. Why? Because I feel better, because I want to go to the gym 3 times, because that's going to help me be stronger. Okay. Now, okay, amazing. What is the number 2? Meeting my friends more often. Okay, number 2. What is the number 3? Learning new things. And what is the number 4? Exploring the meetups. Okay, exploring the meetups. That was the number 4. So now she has an order to follow. Okay, and she has a price tag associated to it, and she has a time investment. So every week, and then you can use colors, guys. As you see here, the main ideas on this mind map, they are yellow, and then all the ideas are in circles that are black, and then all the prices are orange, all the time commitment or time estimation is red, and then you can use a red marker, or you can just color it with just colors, right? Like you can use whatever. You can draw, if you are an artist, an artistic person, you can draw a bicycle, you can draw a friend, you can draw a coffee, you can draw whatever makes you feel inspired. Okay, so that was one example of how you can do the mind map and how it looks like in a real case scenario. Okay, so now we have some time. I would like to allow time for your specific examples. So after seeing this, what's coming up for you guys? Do you have a specific topic in your mind that you would like to talk about? Stephanie says other ways to distinguish things, it's to make different shapes, circles, triangles, squares, etc. Amazing, Stephanie. I love that idea. And there are no rules about how you can do a mind map, meaning, guys, do whatever works for you. And seeing examples is gonna be helpful, but do whatever feels good to you after. You can use colors or you don't have to. You can draw or you don't have to. You can do bullet points or you cannot. You can do a circle or you cannot. So it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as the final outcome of this exercise is for you to have a plan that feels good to you. It feels manageable. It feels clear. You understand it. Okay, that's the main takeaway from this exercise. Christine says, I get lost in the details at the beginning. So Christine, it's normal, and this is what was happening to her. Okay, she was overwhelmed with all the little details. I need to call the contractor, I need to do the meetup, I need to buy boxes, and then everything was mixed up. So all the details plus the story plus the emotions that you have around those start circling around, and then you start feeling overwhelmed, and then you don't have clarity. That's why the first step is to try and grasp the main categories, the main ideas. Okay, before you go to the details, just go to the main categories. What is the main category here? And feel free to share what are the details that you are getting stuck with, because if you do that, we can brainstorm together. Okay, Kathy says, how did your client feel after putting all her ideas in a mind map? So Kathy, after doing this exercise that honestly took 15 to 20 minutes max, she went home with a clear plan of attack. So at least she knew what she needed to do right now. And this can change, okay? So as days go by, weeks go by, life events happen, the mind map may not be relevant anymore, or it may need to be tweaked. But at that specific moment, she felt complete. She felt clear. And she had a plan of attack with specific order, specific priority level. So these are the three main ideas. Okay, your priorities are this one first, this one second, this one third, and then this is the steps that every idea requires from you. And these steps need to be done in this specific order. And each step is gonna take you this much time, and each step is gonna cost you this much money if there is a price tag. So with that information, how easy it is for you to put that in the calendar. Once you know the sequencing, the priority, and once you know that you are not forgetting anything, once you know that everything that you need to know and remember is there. So that's the clarity and the peace of mind that we are looking for. Okay? So Meg says, brainstorming is my favorite thing for starting any project. Like this, set a timer for 15 minutes and write bullet point ideas of everything that comes up, no judgment. I love it, Meg. That's a great way for you to get out everything that's in your head, and then you can reflect on that. Okay? So you can even do mind maps that are basic, that have nothing to do with you. Like, okay. So Gilsa says, what about the person who can't make a decision? For example, my sister has to buy insurance but cannot decide what is best based on so many opinions and choices. So Gilsa, when you cannot make a decision, Normally you cannot make a decision because there could be a few reasons here. Maybe one is lack of information. Okay, sometimes you don't have clarity about, do I have all the information that I require to make a good decision here? In that case, I will invite, especially with insurance, I just took my business insurance not long ago. I had to change companies because the other company didn't do professional organizers anymore. So my approach was, I didn't want to be on the phone a long time. I didn't want to go in person to see a bunch of people. So my approach was, I redacted an email with everything that I needed, every coverage that I had, and then I copy and pasted and I sent that email to probably 7 to 10 different insurance brokers. And then I let them reply to me. I let them give me my information, and I let them send me quotes. After having a few quotes coming back, and after seeing the communication and if I did like them or not, the way they communicated, I made my decision, and it was very clear. At the end, there were two companies that check all the match for me, and that was the way I took. So all the information is necessary first. Second one is emotional. Maybe you are facing an emotion around this decision, okay, that is you have to understand and become aware of. So those are some ideas for you to be able, but when you can do a mind map and a brain dump about what's going on in your head, you are going to gain clarity and confidence, and hopefully you are going to learn what is the next step for me to take to make progress in this decision. Okay, so Stephanie says, main topic grocery store, then different areas like produce, meat, dairy, non-perishables, etc. So Stephanie, are you trying to do a mind map around your meal planning? Is that what I am understanding here? Amy says, for me, I start with the easiest, most uplifting, emotional category so that I can so that I can get some momentum going. Does that help? Yeah, absolutely, Amy. Getting started with something that excites you, it's always the best way to get started. Because at the end of the day, no one wants to do a mind map or a brainstorm about something that they are not inspired about. Okay? So this is why before you do a mind map, before you're doing a brain dump, I think the first step is to really set an intention of, what am I trying to do here? And remind yourself, why is this important? Why is this thing necessary for me? What are the benefits of this, of doing this? What's gonna happen if I can do this and I can gain clarity? What am I gonna gain? How much time am I gonna free up? How much stress am I gonna save, eliminate from my life? How much more time am I gonna have to do things that I love? You know what I mean? You have to remind yourself of the benefits of doing this so that you get started pumped, you get started motivated, you get started with the outcome in mind. If you get started not feeling energized or doing something that is boring to you and you cannot find a way to make it interesting or entertaining, or at least know that that chore is necessary to make your life easier and better, then it's very difficult for you to actually do this exercise because you don't want to do it in the first place. So you will not find the time, you will procrastinate, you will feel that it's a waste of time, you will not know how to do it. So yes, it's really important for you to set the intention first and get started with motivation if possible. At least reminding yourself, why am I doing this? So that you start with intention. Okay? Coming up with categories that Amy says it's helpful. When you are doing a brain dump, this happens with brain dump, this happens with like mind mapping. You can do a general one when you are feeling overwhelmed, or you can do a specific one. So I show you an example of this woman that she was overwhelmed in general, and then it boiled down to have three main categories. And then we did kind of a mind map for each category, and that gave me all the information I needed to help her. Sometimes, like the one that I show you about my sabbatical year, that was only about the sabbatical year. There was nothing else in there. So I was trying to direct my focus and attention to do a mind mapping about that specific topic only. Okay? So this is something that, again, you can set the intention. Maybe you do a brain dump and a mind map once a month, and that's your maintenance. just checking in with yourself, having fun, and see what comes up. Maybe you do a mind map and a brain dump only when you are feeling lack of clarity, when you are feeling lack of confidence, or when you are feeling frustrated. That's maybe the time for you to do one, because that's gonna help you understand why you are feeling the way that you are. So again, set the intention and then do a mind map in the specific topic or topics that you are interested in. Okay? So Amy says, Emilio, selfishly, can you look at my categories? Okay, let me see if I can find them. Amy here. So Amy says, I come up with categories. 1, illness, medical management. 2, healthy activities. Hiking, explore Sedona. Romance and quality time with Matthew. Explore natural remedies. And creativity. Amy, those are good categories. Now it seems to me that the general mind map for you, it's done. You already know the main headings. Now you can take it to the next level and you can do a mind map on each of those categories. If it feels good to you, if it feels too much, then look at those categories and then start setting intentions about which one is my priority. Do I need to pursue all these activities and categories all at once? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, then how am I gonna be doing this? And I will invite you to then be specific about the specific actions that you want to take. Time estimation, how much time are you willing to invest in each of those? Okay. And then, for example, you mentioned hiking and exploring Sedona. Okay, is that once a month? Is that once a week? Is that twice a month? Is that once a day? And for how long? And then you can explore, who am I gonna be doing it with? Only Matthew or any other friend or alone? So you start brainstorming and doing a brain dump and doing a mind map of that specific category, hiking and exploring Sedona. Okay? After that, you can look at the other one. Maybe it's illness and pain management, illness management, I think it was. So what are you trying to get out of this? Are you trying to manage your life better? Are you trying to change your routine? Are you trying to learn new ways to manage that? Like, again, start setting the intention and then do a specific mind map about that specific category. And this doesn't have to happen all at once, okay? Because if this is overwhelming, those are a lot of categories. So I'm not telling you spend 3 hours just doing mind maps and that's it. Some people may be willing to do that, but some people it may be too much. So find your balance, find your edge, and try to start gaining clarity at a good pace, at a pace that feels good to you. And then once you gain clarity, integrate that in your life and then maintain that, okay? So if you decide to hike and you decide that you're gonna hike once a week for an hour, for example, put it in your calendar and then make it a priority. And then if that doesn't happen, then you have to reflect about it. Why didn't it happen? Am I being unrealistic about how long or how often? Is there any other challenge that I'm facing? Is it maybe at the wrong time? Or maybe I didn't have the right energy at that time, or I was feeling pain and I couldn't go. So start really being gentle with yourself and really reflecting and tweaking. And then once you have a category that is manageable and it's kind of already integrated and it's forming a habit, that's when you can dive into the next one. Okay? What was the bottom main circle? So on the mind mapping that I was sharing with you, the last one was garden. Okay? And I didn't cover the garden. I can cover the garden if you guys want to see another example. Or I can keep answering questions. What do you want me to do? Answer questions or show you the last example about the gardening? So hiking in Sedona is magical. Yeah. The last example. Okay. So I'm going to share with you the last example, okay? So as I was mentioning, this woman had, the basement was flooded. That was one category that I already shared. The second was things to do in free time, okay? And the third one was gardening, her garden. Why was her garden important for her? Well, there are a lot of emotional attachment to the garden. She felt that she procrastinated and she didn't have enough time when she was working. And the garden for her is a representation of who she is. A beautiful garden means a beautiful person. A beautiful garden means that she's taking care of herself and that she's making that hobby a priority. So that's why gardening was important for her. And she wanted her garden to be beautiful, and she wanted to use gardening as a self-care tool so that it inspires her to get outside more often. It inspires her to watch nature growing. And then she sees bees, she sees birds, she sees like neighbors coming and complimenting her on her garden. So she gets a lot of feelings, good feelings about her gardening. Okay. So what was inside the gardening? So she said, okay, she started dumping everything that she had in her head. I need to expand my garden with new garden beds. I need to buy flowers and plants. I need to select what kind to buy. I need to look online for free options. I need to test my soil. I need to go to the library. So she started like dumping ideas, right? And then I organized them in this way. Basically, at the end of the exercise, there were two priorities. Why? Priority number one was to expand garden with new garden beds. That was the first thing to do. Because if that wasn't done, everything else wouldn't be able to happen. Because you cannot plant new flowers if you don't have the space created, okay? So what do you need to expand the garden? So she needs to get the beds, and then she say, I'm going to spend 1 hour researching for beds. I'm going to try and use Kijiji, that is an application for used stuff, to see if I can find used ones or I can find the wood to create them, okay? I need to get the soil and I need to get fertilizer, okay? So getting the soil, she says, I have to put the soil in the garden. I need to borrow a trailer from a friend. And then I need to look online for free options. And I need to look at the landfill, because I told her that at the landfill here, you can get soil for free. So she was going to do that, okay? So she's going to build the beds, and then she's going to get the soil. And then after that, she's going to get the fertilizer, okay? And then she's going to go to the store. That's going to cost her $100, and it's going to take 30 minutes to 1 hour of her time to do that. So that was task number one. That was expanding the garden beds, okay? Once that's complete, then she moved into step number two. That is the fun stuff, buying flowers and planting them, okay? And then what does she need to do? I need to select what kind to buy, okay? And then how are you going to do that? I asked her. And then she said, I need to go to the store and ask. I need to ask my friend Karen, because she knows a lot. So I'm going to have a coffee with her. I'm going to spend 2 hours with her, and I'm going to spend $15 treating her for a coffee. And then I want to read a book. So I'm going to go to the library, spend 30 minutes to get the book, and I'm going to spend 4 hours reading 1 or 2 books and learning more about that, okay? And then once that happens, then I'm gonna go to the store to buy whatever I have decided, and I'm going to spend maximum $225, and I'm going to spend 2 hours doing that. So that was the mind map that came out from that gardening section, okay, that you can see right here. So that's how we ended up doing a brain dump, dumping all the information in here, and then connecting them in a way that makes sense, in a way that is the right sequence, in a way that we can prioritize which one comes first and why. And then once she has this order, how easy it's gonna be for her now to put in the calendar, step number one, I need to do this, and it's gonna take me this much time. Once this is done, step two is happening. And then in the meantime, I can meet with my friend Karen. I can go to the library and get those books so I can get started researching. And then at the end, I will go and buy the flowers and plant them. And after that is, what is the maintenance of your garden? And then she said, I'm going to spend between 2 and 4 hours a week gardening. That was her plan. So that was in the calendar. When are you going to do that? She said, well, I don't need to have it happen at a specific time, because she uses that as a self-care activity. So anytime she's feeling well, she just gets out there and then she does some work. So that's flexible for her. She doesn't have to put a specific time and day to do the gardening. But she knows that on average, 2 to 4 hours a week, she's gonna spend there on her knees, watching her flowers, and just having fun. Okay? So guys, that was the example. Kathy says, is there a software or app that you can use to do this? What if you lose this precious piece of paper? Well, so a few tips, guys. When you do something like this, if you do this in your calendar, for example, if you do this in your journal or on a piece of paper and you don't want to lose it, just take a photo of it or scan it. You can scan it with your phone. You can use the Tiny Scanner app, it's free, and you can use the phone and then you snap a photo, and then you can either save it as a photo or you can save it as a PDF. And then you save that in your computer, in your laptop, on Google Drive, wherever. You send it by email, and then you will always have that file that you can always look at. That's one option. Option two, there are different apps out there. If you go to the Google Store or to the App Store and you just type mind mapping apps or brain dump apps, you will find a whole lot of things, okay? So those are two options that I recommend you do. When I do this exercise with people, I always do it pen to paper, because there is something about the flexibility of being able to write down the ideas that I don't get that with a computer or with a phone. I don't, because you have to do extra steps. Writing for me is like, I write this, I also think about, okay, she's talking about the garden now, so that belongs here. And then, oh, she's talking about the step number 3, that belongs here. Oh, she's talking about the basement, that belongs here. So all that intentionality is difficult to make it fast in a computer. That's what I found, okay? But yeah, electronic notebooks will work, absolutely. You can have a notebook with that electronic pen, and that's gonna be pretty much the same as a regular notebook. So that's a great idea if you have access to that, okay? But yeah, guys, find the way that feels good to you. Some people are tech savvy and they have all the gadgets and they feel well using that. Some people don't, and they just make it as convenient as possible for you, whatever that feels to you, okay? And the scanner app, the one that I use is called Tiny Scanner, okay? The Tiny Scanner. You can also, if you have Google Drive allows you to snap a photo and scan it into a PDF too, okay? Okay, guys, that was today's session. I hope that you got value of this exercise. I hope that that you guys can start using this exercise every time you feel overwhelmed, every time you feel like there is something that I need to gain clarity about this specific topic. Okay, so just remember that this exercise is something that you can do not only when you are feeling overwhelmed, but also when you are feeling well. You can be proactive. When your life is manageable, you can then be proactive using this mind mapping for new ideas, new opportunities, just for fun. Okay, so guys, that's how a mind map can be done. I will invite you to go to Google and then type mind mapping, and if you have a specific category that you are trying to do, for example, meal planning, you can say mind mapping for meal planning, and then search by photos, pictures, and then you will see a lot of different ideas. Sometimes seeing ideas can help you get what you enjoy from each one and then create your own one. That's another way for you to get aware of what are the options out there, using colors, using shapes, using drawings, using everything that you feel comfortable using. And then you can make your own mind map in a way that feels good and true to you. Okay? And that's it for today, guys. I hope that you have an amazing weekend. And yeah, and I will see you next week, that we're going to be talking about money, financial wellness, and we're going to be talking about social media too, and your digital life. Those are the 2 topics for next week. Okay? Until then, remember that you have access to my courses on Insight Timer, You can do my video courses on my website. You can read content that I create. So all that is available for you in the meantime, for you to keep learning. Okay? Amazing, guys. Have an amazing rest of your day, and let's finish the session doing another emotional scan. Okay? I think it's important to, after you do something and having the reference of what you did before, now you can close your eyes and then just breathe in and out at a pace that feels good to you, and just notice what emotions or feelings are present for you right now. Just notice that. And how is that different from the one that we did just 50 minutes ago? And sometimes reflecting this way can help you notice, was this activity helpful? Was this session inspiring to me? Was I able to manage some of those emotions and feelings? Uh, Maybe I learned something that I'm gonna use. Maybe I feel overwhelmed. This is too many ideas, and I don't need more ideas. Whatever it is, just honor it. Pay attention to it and just watch it. Just let it be there, and then you will know what to do with it. And then maybe you can do a mind map after to explore options. Okay? Okay, guys. Very happy to have your presence today and your energy. Okay? Have a lovely rest of your day. Adios.